I love touchy-feely art, so here I am today playing with texture. And what I'm going to do is start with a white background, and I'm taking some tissue paper which I've torn up into little strips, and you can crumple them up. We're going to coat our background with some PVA glue. Smear it in with your fingers. Make sure it's all over. Cover it totally. Any little lumpy bits just wipe away. And just place tissue paper randomly. You can crinkle it up a bit, because that's where you want some of your texture. You put on as much as you like. Put a fair bit on. Okay, then once you've done that, just fold over any excess little pieces. Dry it off a little bit. I like each stage to be at least touch dry. And then what we'll do is sprinkle over a little bit of embossing powder. This is a Mad Jack embossing powder. And this will give it a little bit more texture. Heat it up. Once you get into all the little creases of the paper that you've placed down, heat up the entire area. You don't have to use embossing powder on this, but I've just chosen to do that because I like the way that it reacts with the PVA glue. It tends to bubble and split. Don't worry too much about colours at the moment because we're going to paint over this. I'm going to use Lumiere paints today. I love the vibrancy of them, and just they're so divine. Just double checking to make sure it's all done. A bit more PVA over it. You can do some shapes, random squiggles and such. Touch dry again. And I've got this old piece of wire. I love this for texture. It's one of my favourite pieces in my kit. And I'm just using some moulding paste. You can use texture paste, you can use gel medium. Any of those heavy body mediums will work fine. You can even use spack filler or liquid nails. Heat to touch dry. Now with some of the mediums, they will bubble and lose shape, so if you use wire and such, just watch what you use. Sometimes you might want to place the wire back down, or if you've used another stencil, and see I'm doing that now. I'm just using my finger to get out any of the bubbles and that. Just play. Texture is all about playing and experimenting, and there's no rules or things that you have to follow, like guidelines and that. You just have fun with it. It's pretty ugly looking at the moment, and I'm touch drying again. Now the reason I'm doing circular motion, because I normally say, you know, condense your heat or fine heat. I've got the heat gun quite close here because I don't mind that it burns off. It will bubble and blister some more, so that's more texture. The more texture I've got, the happier I am. And now I'm going to apply my paints. That's right, we're finger painting. You can use a paintbrush, you can use a sponge. A sea sponge is ideal, slightly damp, just so it's soft enough to get into all the little crevices and little nooks and crannies. But I like to use my fingers. and I like to use more than one colour. And opposing colours are nice because they do become complementary depending on how you put them together. Just remember, no rules. It's your art. You make it what you want to make it. Just filling in all the areas. Okay. Bit more of this burgundy down. Beautiful. I love the lumières, I really do. They're a definite must-have. You can use flat acrylics as well. So touch dry. And of course the paints will bubble and blister and burst, so you can give them as much or as little heat as you like. I'm just trying to make this touch dry so I can go to the next stage. Just making sure I get into all those little areas. Yes, so I left the table and I'm rummaging through my rub and buff drawer. I'm using Patina Blue. And I'm also using Treasure Gold. I'm not overly fussed with labels or brands. I like product. If the product works well for me, then it goes in my toolkit. I love this patina. The patina goes beautiful on everything and anything, especially copper tones. I'm just putting a little bit in here, random areas. Putting the lid on because they do dry out. And now I'm taking a bit of the Treasure Gold. This is White Fire, this particular colour. And unfortunately you can't see it very well on here. So I do encourage you to go and have a look on my blog. It's ATC Linda B at blogspot.com and you'll see a close-up of this piece. I'm just rubbing that over. And you can just see a bit of the shine. Once that dries, and it won't take long, you can trim it as I've done here already and give it a bit of a polish, and you can see the gold. It's beautiful. So go check out my blogspot and go get your hands dirty. Isn't that beautiful? Now what will I do with it?